Deep Talk, Mali Studio, Mali Society here. Hope you're all good. It's your girl Marita, and that's my girl
Lisa. And
Welcome.
today we'll be talking about motivation. What is motivation, and do you need motivation to do stuff that you want to achieve in your life? So that's our topic for today. Marita, what are your thoughts about motivation, and is it necessary to get things done?
It depends. It's per person. I think it depends on how. There's some people who need motivation, but I don't think it's a necessity to be motivated, because how many motivation speakers do we have? And how's the nation? Is everybody motivated? Actually not. I think it's a person's thing. You have to decide. You have to motivate yourself. Like, you have to keep yourself moving.
Yeah.
You know, like, I see motivation is equal to investing in yourself. So when I wake up, what's the plan? I don't need somebody to push me to do something.
That's a good one, because my friend Jim Quick always says motivation is something that you do. So motivation is already like waking up and going to school. You're like already motivated to do something. Now, motivation becomes a thing of what is it when you are attaching a motivation to an outcome, right? Like when you want to have, let's say, maybe a six-pack, you might say, I'm motivated to wake up every day, maybe eat well. But most of the time, you don't get the outcome that you need. So then the motivation is not really a driver for you to get that six-pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I fully get you. Yeah. Then the motivation is not what makes you get the result. It's the work in between, like the input, what you're doing in there. It's not. Yeah, that's actually deep. That's like questioning the word. Because I went to Google and wrote out motivation, and it says that a reason or reasons of acting or behaving in a particular way. So based on what you just said and for what Google just said, it's two different things. You're saying it's the gap in between. You check up somebody maybe on Instagram, be like, oh, I like that body. And be like, maybe I should do this and this and this, or follow up what they did to get to that point. Then that gets you motivated. But it's not what keeps you going. So which means what you actually need is a plan and a goal on where you're going. You don't need any motivation around, So that's it. And the thing should be you investing in yourself. I think that's also a question that will also be included on, wow, Lisa, yo, you dropped it. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So that's it, because we can always, when we hear these motivation speakers or people with convincing stories and these great stories that make you, like, they move you and they make you feel motivated, but that's just like the start. Motivation is doing the same thing over and over again, even if you don't feel like it. It's actually the acting on your dreams or your desire that is motivation. You cannot attach to the outcome. Let's say you cannot attach motivation to the outcome, because then you always fail, because the next day you wake up feeling like, oh, but at least I was motivating today, I feel like not motivated. So then you attach motivation with what you do, which should be detached.
Which means we think that motivation is that emotion that we feel, because you'll be like, I don't feel like doing anything now. So that means you need to feel something to be motivated. So which means whatever you wanted to do, if it's not that important to you, you will not even wake up, because the emotion for the thing that you wanted to do, it's not worth it. But once your emotion is involved of achieving the results, then of course you will wake up and do it. You will not find an excuse not to do it, or an excuse why to do it.
Well, you said something great right there. You said our feelings may cause us not to do something tomorrow when we feel the motivation today.
Yeah.
And the feeling should never be the driver of anything. Because if you have a goal and you want to, like, say, let's just stick to having a six-pack, right? Having a athletic body, everybody wants to feel good, look good. So,
Hey, buddy.
hey, okay, now bring it on. The thing is that you cannot. Now I've lost myself again.
The body.
I'm gonna come back to it. I've just lost it.
You did lost it. It's gonna come back. So I will say then, in other words, for us to rephrase, we need to rephrase the word motivation. We shouldn't think that we need motivation to do anything. We need to have a goal. Instead of having, oh, I don't feel like doing it, or I need motivation. Or when you're watching something that you think that you're watching it to motivate you, it should be actually something that is driving you to achieve your goal. You know, when you're watching all those motivation speakers, it should be something that is actually implementing you to achieve what you actually want to achieve.
Oh yeah, it came back to me. Yeah. You said something good. So your feelings should never be the driver of what you do, because feelings will always put you back into failure mode, because feelings are attached to your habits, your subconscious mind. So if your goal is to get that six pack, and the next day you wake up, you feel like, oh, today I feel so tired. No, it's that habit that you have of finding excuses and finding things to place into that and not to achieve what you want. So you should disregard your feelings and do that thing every day, because when you do it every day, that was motivation is. You do something that even if whether you like it or not, you do it repeatedly, like a religious thing, you know, like every day. Doesn't matter how you feel. Is it raining? Like when you have a goal to pay your rent every month, and you have work, and you don't have a car, you have to cycle to work, you're not gonna say, oh man, today it's raining, I'm not gonna go to work, you know, I feel your goal is to pay the rent, so you're gonna go sowieso, you're gonna take your bike, whether it's raining, you're gonna go to work, because the motivation there is that you have to pay your rent. So the goal is to pay your rent at the end of the month. And so whether it's raining, sunny, cloudy, windy, you're gonna find a way to get up and go to work, even if you don't want, even if you don't feel like going there.
Yep.
So,
and do you know what I was thinking now? I think is Greg Bergen. I think that's what he said when he was talking about brains, that we mostly don't think that our heart has a brain. And that's where the emotion comes. So you're feeling something, and that feeling that you're feeling triggers to your brain and tells your brain, oh, don't feel like, or you feel something, maybe you feel happy, the sun is shining, you feel, yes, it's today, you know, it's an emotion you're feeling. So which means it's your small brain in your heart that triggers the subconscious, that they communicate. And that's something else we also have to understand, like your emotions, which is heart, and your brain communicate together. So how you're feeling determines on your thoughts that are going to be triggered. So what I'm trying to say is, if you really want to resolve the not feeling like emotion, you also have to work on your brain, your thoughts. So every time you feel like, oh, because it's an emotion that is actually making you feel like not doing it.
Yeah.
Since that emotion is triggered to your brain, you have to start changing the thoughts that you're having. I don't know if I'm making sense. Do you know? Change the thoughts so that you can get to the point.
Yeah.
So which means you don't need the emotion anymore to get you driving. You just need to know, okay, when my brain is saying this, or what we saw last time, count five, you know?
Yeah.
Who was she? Says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Mel Robbins say that the 5-second rule. Like when you set up an alarm and you don't want to wake up, just go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump out of bed, like stand up immediately. Don't go like, oh yes, because you're gonna get back to it, because your body is used to like sleeping off. So it's a 5-second rule that I've been implementing nowadays, and it really helps. Because when my alarm goes off, I always feel like just doze off for a bit, just doze off, because yesterday you slept
Yeah.
so late, and you have the ability to sleep, just sleep off. And I just
Yeah.
go like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But I really have to exactly stand up out of bed, like stand up, go to the bathroom, put some coat on my face, because otherwise I would just go and doze off again.
But and also after that, it's the goal that you're having for that day, not the to-do list. The goal you are investing on yourself to do that day. Because you shouldn't do things because, oh, I have to do this and this and this. No, you should actually live a life on investing on yourself, like waking up, taking care of yourself, drinking water, doing sports, doing whatever. It's an
Oh, you
self.
you said something great right there, like waking up and doing something
Yeah,
for yourself. So it might be meditation, it might be exercising, which we recommend. Like those, both of them go in hand, like meditation and
yeah,
exercising, and just having that 1 hour, 2 hours before everybody else wakes up. If you're like a family person, that you have a family in your household, if you live alone, of course, you can always do that. Also, because you have other people depending on you, maybe like your boss or your friends or your mother or sister, whatever. So it's really good to have a window that you have for your time, so you don't feel like you're being outlived, but that you're actually living life, and that you have some sort of structure and direction in your life, because otherwise you always feel like, oh, everybody wants something from me, I never have time for myself.
yeah.
And so I think that's really important when you said, like, when you wake up, have a moment, that not a checklist, but a moment that you have for yourself, to be like to clear your mind and have sanity around you.
Yeah. Because you're the machine. So if you're not investing in yourself, you're not, you go to work to pay bills. So it's not actually for you. So what do you do then for yourself?
Wow.
That's why if you're having a side hustle, that's something for you. So create time, but you also have to create time to be mentally and emotionally ready and work out your shit. Like what is actually blocking you,
Yeah.
And the other thing is, what was I discussing last time? I think it was my sister about what was it? I was just losing it. It was about motivation speakers. Something happened to them to be what they are now. They didn't just wake up and be motivation speakers. So they're just actually giving you tools on how they got from zero to Z, or how they manage their life. And
Mm.
even when you them or when you see people, it doesn't mean that it's a consistent thing. They also have to keep repeating and repeating and repeating and reminding themselves why they're doing what they're doing. So
Ooh, that's a good one, because every time there's a couple of motivation speakers that I love listening to, and
mhm.
wherever they come, whether it's a new platform they're speaking to, a new interviewer, they're always repeating the same story. And I'm asking myself, but I have heard this story 100 times. Why do these people keep repeating it? Because the game is repetition. You have to do you have to repeat things over and over and over and over. So that's when I say motivation, that's when it comes, like whether they feel like exercising or not, you have to do it, because it's about repetition. When that thing becomes like the core of who you are, because what you're trying to change is not your eating habits actually, but it's the whole, like, who are you as a persona. Because if you don't change that whole thing as a persona, you will not sustain that 6 abs. You go back after 1 year, you go back to it, because now you have to change you have to change your whole personality. You have to be a new person. You have to
And
wear
then
yeah,
you start dealing with the guilt
yeah.
because you started off wrong. How long have I done a diet in my life? Like, yo,
I've
I
been
never.
trying to lose weight for 10 years. 10 years.
And you'll be watching this, you'll be watching this. But
Whoa.
if you really, after this conversation, if you really had set a goal for yourself and say, this is my investment for myself, not trying to be like pleasing or I will fit on this, for myself. Like, I mean, like, I want to, discipline should be what keeps us moving. Motivation should not keep us moving. We need discipline. If you put discipline in your life, those people wake up every day 5 o'clock. It's nothing to them.
Exactly. So the
That would
thing becomes then, motivation is the goal, discipline is the game. Like
The game
is the game.
is the game. So thank you for coming to listen to our deep talk. I hope we could give you something back. If you have something to say, make sure you comment down below. If you have a topic we should discuss about, or you think we missed out on something, or if something helped you, yeah, just be open. Yeah, please share and subscribe, and yeah,
we'll see you on the next Smart Society Talks, and we have great speakers coming to listen to us and have a conversation with us. We have a financial freedom woman who's gonna teach us on how to save for when something like a pandemic happens again. How are you not going to save for those 3 months, 6 months where you're not going to be able to work and have a safety net? So I think it's really important to have that. And since we never learned how to do it, most of us, I think it will be interesting and a very informational talk. So I hope you guys to join us on our next talk on every Friday. We drop our videos on every Friday. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye.